Hey everybody, this is Jim at SP500chart.com using time-honored techniques to understand modern markets, featuring daily technical analysis videos of the S&P 500 index. Before we get started, you know the drill. The website and the video are for educational purposes only. Nothing stated at either is intended to be used as investment advice. I can draw lines on charts, but you have to draw your own conclusions from your own research and make investment decisions that are suitable for your personal financial situation. I'm not a licensed financial professional. I'm just a guy that draws lines on charts. Okay, starting out looking at a 30-minute chart. While we're kind of doing this thing, I have to remind you again that that there are no major patterns that we can look at right now that point us in any definite direction. Okay, they're just not there. We have satisfied the minimum directions from a number of patterns, both bullish mostly and a very small bearish pattern. And right now the market is just kind of on its own, and all we can do is point out maybe some kind of esoteric features. And the one that I pointed out yesterday, and I have been mentioning for a while, is the apex of this large rising wedge that we've been looking at for a long time. Now, the only problem with this is that the market spent a good bit of time outside of that wedge well after it had developed. You see, we were in this thing for about 2 months. Then it came down and took out the bottom side of it. Did not come all the way down to this green line where I thought it would find support once that broke, or neither did it come down to this blue line where I thought it would find support if tested. Instead, we came back up for what appears to be possibly, and I hate to use these words that are just loaded up with non-committal language, but frankly, that's all I can really offer right now. And the reason I say that is that having met these minimum targets and without any clear chart pattern that we can draw from at this present moment, all you can do is say, well, it is what it is, and let's try to get some idea on where we might construct some trigger points to where we can begin to get an idea as to if this market is going to head up for a new leg or if it really is coming back down for some kind of correction. I'm hoping that we get some kind of correction because I think that's what the market really needs to do, especially if these gains are going to continue. And again, once again today, I mentioned yesterday that the S&P has been playing around this purple line right here, which is the neckline of a small head and shoulders top, and it met the target from that top early on the 23rd when we got down to about 1387. Then it formed this little reversal pattern here that gapped up a day before yesterday and then came up for a couple days, then started to show some weakness, and today that weakness resulted in yet another breakdown under this neckline as it is extended upwards. Now the question comes, is this late day rally a reversal? Okay, is this going to head back up to the 14 teens, test this purple line again, or is this going to end up being a bear flag? And the answer to that is, as you suspected, I do not know. And we just don't know because there's not enough going on I mean, clearly we can see that this line broke, and it wouldn't be unexpected to get yet another back test of this. But you know, the markets are just looking to me right now to be a little bit disorganized and a little willy-nilly, starting to become perhaps a little bit more news-driven than they had been for much of this year. So all I can tell you right now is that this line right here, this descending blue line, will likely serve as some support. This rising purple line will likely serve as some resistance. But I don't know that there's a great deal to be said for what might take place in between these two lines, given this very small amount of information that we have. I can show you one thing. You know, we talk about gaps, and one of the things that we mention that I like to say about gaps is that there's nothing magical about a gap. Gaps do tend to get, quote, filled, but it's not because there is a vacuum in a gap and the vacuum pulls things back down. It's not that. It's just that the natural occurrence after a gap up is profit taking, and often the profit taking will bring levels back inside that gap, where very often once you reach a level that is about where the gap up took place, where the gap up started, then you get either gap support or gap resistance. And today, if we put that line right there, you can see the gap started right here at this level, and that is where we did get that bounce this afternoon. So now that makes sense. You think about it. You have folks who maybe were sellers late on the 23rd, and all of a sudden they wake up Monday morning to a gap up of 14, 15 points, and they go, doggone, I shouldn't have sold. You know, if we come back to these levels, I'll bow back in. So the markets kind of rally a bit and come on up here, do a little reversal, and then they come back down to that point where somebody got out on the 23rd and they wanted back in, and they got back in starting this afternoon at the very same level that they were sellers. I've got some buy orders in for a couple stocks right now, hoping to get a gap resistance or a gap, in this case, a gap support play out of it. So look, it's really pretty simple. We did come back down underneath this neckline. It appears, at least for right now, that maybe that apex to our rising wedge may serve as a resistance level. And I mentioned that I've seen this a number of times on larger scale and on smaller scale. So let's see if this 1418, 1419 level holds up as a short-term top. I don't think it's going to be a long-term top, but I think it may be a short-term top. So look, that is the video for March 28th, 2012. I'm hoping that as time goes on and we start to get a little bit more price action over the next few days, we start to see something develop that we can draw some expectations from. Right now, there just isn't that much. So look, thanks for checking out the video, and we'll do one of these on after the close tomorrow. It will come from my location out of town, so it's not going to be it'll be a little bit rough around the edges as I do these on my laptop when I'm traveling, and then we'll get another one back to you for the weekly update. That one will be posted on Saturday, and then the beginning of next week I do some more travel, but again should be able to get everything to you in a timely fashion while on the road. So look, thanks again for checking it out. Take care.